Blue Strike Environmental just celebrated its first year, and in that short amount of time, we have and are building a relevant brand within the sustainability industry. And I wanted to take a moment to reflect and really articulate what our programs are and how they are all connected. Blue Strike has three primary program areas. We have special events, what I call net zero communities, and stakeholder outreach. We're all familiar with our special events, but what you might not realize is that Blue Strike managed sustainability programs for 27 events this year. And although Blue Strike does a lot of policy work and certification consulting, our biggest asset is our ability to engage local folks, to come out to our event, and teach others why it is important to recycle. And since March, we have engaged roughly 1,000 volunteers. And I wanted to share with you some of these photos. This girl, this is taken at the California Roots Festival. She drives down from Oakland every year, and she stands at our zero waste stations, which you can see in the back. She's wearing a Blue Strike green team shirt, which she has creatively cut into some cool hipster t-shirts. So of course she was worthy of a photo. We also have our sorting team from the Big Sur Marathon. They are wearing aprons sponsored by the Air District. They're a group from our local college that come out every year to the marathon and help sort trash. We obviously have Rico, Alex, and Manny. This is taken in Dallas right when we are about to hand out our Community Green Team t-shirts. Those folks from that Dallas community were all low income, coming out to participate in the golf tournament. It was, I think we had about 500 volunteers that day, that week. We also have a photo from the Big Sur Marathon. This is what our zero waste stations look like. You'll notice that there are no trash cans at the marathon. This is taken at the finish. There are no trash cans at the finish along the 26 miles of the course or at the start. So it's pretty impressive the amount of work that we do to divert. So I wanted to go over a few of the new events this year. We have three new ones that we've been working with, which are pretty exciting. One is the LMA Classic in Hayward, which is right outside of Oakland. It is another PGA Tour event, which puts us at, I think, 3 or 4 PGA Tours on our resume. For this event, it was really small. We went in and did some stewarding on the course, but again, it's going to open the door for more discussions and more networking within the tour. The second one, we adopted the Wharf to Wharf race, and this event is a fairly big race in Santa Cruz. Rico and Alex went in on race day and did an audit to help make recommendations for how to take that event to certification in 2019. And then we had the Ironman, which was also in Santa Cruz. We had a small role this year, but the potential is huge. Ironman has 70 events nationwide, and they're all, the staff is all connected. So we went in and worked with Santa Cruz at their finish area. We helped them do some of the stewarding, and we're going to make recommendations for how to improve their overall waste program for 2019. Bringing conservation-minded folks to an event provides interactive opportunities for people attending these events. It personalizes the event and it adds a different level of interaction. Having someone walk up to a zero waste volunteer and learn about what the event is doing to help reduce waste gives people a chance to participate. And this is a valuable thing for sponsors, partners, and the event in general. In the last 6 months, we have brought some of these partnerships and sponsorships to our events. Recover Brands came in as a green sponsor for the Monterey Bay Half Marathon, which is in November. So this year, our volunteers will be wearing Recover branded t-shirts. We're going to be redesigning our expo booth to highlight Recover Brands and the partnership that we've established. And this sponsorship brought in $35,000 to the Big Sur Marathon. So suddenly that's going to give us some leverage to expand our contract. We also have a partnership with a reuse partner. This partnership was established during the AT&T Byron Nelson. This is a picture of the meshing which lines all the fences around the property of the golf course. So you can imagine the massive quantities. I think there might have been six to eight dumpsters filled with this green mesh. This is a picture of what happened to that mesh. It was shipped off to a regional recycler and made into reusable backpacks for some low-income neighborhood schools. And another example of how we offer value through our partnerships is by reducing the cost of using single-use items. So for example, at marathons, we help figure out ways to reduce single-use water bottle use. We design bulk water programs for events, and that saves them money. This picture is taken from the California Roots Festival. This is a program called the Steel Pint Program. So instead of buying a beer or a Coke in a plastic cup, you can buy a beer in the stainless steel cup and then reuse it every time. In fact, you can bring it back year to year. So another way we can add value to our clients is through awards and recognition. And as you know, last July, Rico and I flew to the Green Sports Alliance Summit. We went to make a presentation, but we also were there with our clients to receive the Innovation Award. These clients are the California International Marathon, and they submitted certification for the first time this year and were recognized for it. In addition to awards, there are recognition programs such as the Council for Responsible Sport, which you guys all know is our certification entity, as well as Geo Foundation, which is primarily focused on golf. So all of these awards and recognition are ways that events can turn their programs into lucrative partnerships with partners and sponsors. So we'll move to our new program area called Net Zero Communities. In fact, it is our newest program area, and it's the newest program area for the entire state of California. Just in the last 18 months, community choice energy programs are forming across the state. I think 18 months ago, there was one community choice program, and now there are 12. So this is an emerging industry, and everyone is trying to figure out how they fit in and how they can get a piece of the pie. In 2017, East Bay Community Energy was one of the first community choice energy programs established in California. As an effort to be a leader in the industry, East Bay Community Energy hired Blue Stripe to write a local business development plan, and I think you all have seen this plan. The purpose of the plan was to outline how East Bay was going to build out a local portfolio of energy projects. East Bay wanted recommendations for what they should focus on first and how they could pay for these recommended projects. Blue Stripe didn't have the credentials to really write this plan ourselves, so we went out into the community and found 5 local team partners. We brought in companies like Optiny to determine where these renewable projects could be built in the city and how they could get funded. At the time of this contract signing, this was an innovative approach, and people were just starting the dialogue around how to approach this type of planning process. But over the last 18 months of us writing this plan, the industry has evolved, and there are now conferences and lobbyist organizations dedicated to the community choice energy movement. And most cities across California are in some way or another discussing the formation of a community choice program. And while that's happening, federal money is trickling down with a focus to create innovation projects like electric vehicle readiness plans, how to launch 100% renewable energy for the cities. what does microgrid projects and demand response technology look like? So these are all new concepts, and everyone is trying to figure out how they all fit together. Most recently, last week, SB 100 was passed, which has the entire state committed to 100% renewable by 2045. So the floodgate has just begun. Since June, I wanted to give you an overview of some of the projects that we have submitted. Blue Strike has submitted over $1 million in proposals to cities and counties. I wanted to give a general outline for some of these projects so that you would have a better understanding of what we're trying to do. As a recap, cities are mandated by the state to reduce their greenhouse gas emissions. And since transportation makes up the largest segment of the greenhouse gas emissions, it is the primary target for project development. And as CCAs come online, it is important to build as much revenue demand for electricity as possible. Keep in mind that cities are now forming community choice energy programs, which gives them control of their energy supply and the profits associated with that energy. So the more electrical needs that a city can have, the more profit they make. So just to say that again, transportation is the primary target for cities right now, because if they can put all their vehicles running on electricity, then they can profit more from providing that electricity because they also control the energy. So 3 of these proposals, and I should say quickly that $29,000 has been invested in staff time to produce these 6 proposals, which equal over $1 million. So I think that's a pretty good investment. 3 of these proposals are focused on helping cities build an electrification plan. A simple way to describe electrification is kind of what I just mentioned with transportation. It's designing rebates and funding to incentivize electric vehicles and electric vehicle charging stations. It involves creating policy that would require all new building construction to install charging stations and in some cases, renewable energy. Another example would be to change out all the natural gas systems in a building to an electric system. Assuming that new buildings have solar panels, the entire electrical system would have a net zero emissions impact because that electricity would be powered by the sun. So the City of Richmond, the City of Lancaster, and the County of Contra Costa are all they're offering $15 million to have someone come in and help them figure out how to move more into the electrification, changing out all of their building infrastructure and their vehicle infrastructure to electricity. So these are the 3 proposals that are highlighted on this PowerPoint, just to give you an idea of some of the projects that we're working on. Our third program area, and I'll just quickly go over this one, it is stakeholder outreach. This is a picture of me and Brennan Jensen. She's the co-chair with me on the Monterey Bay Regional Climate Action Compact. This picture is of us receiving a recognition certificate from the local air district's Clean Air Awards reception back in July. The compact is made up of local cities within our area, and Brennan and I have co-chaired this organization together since 2012. We have quarterly meetings. We discuss potential collaborations and funding that help support state mandates that we've been talking about today. Our involvement with the compact was the primary credential for getting the East Bay project, and it allows us to understand policy issues that are important to help us achieve these state mandates, such as reducing greenhouse gas emissions and going 100% renewable. But working with the East Bay has also introduced us to Optiny, which is the primary applicant on 2 other projects that we're working on this year that have to do with stakeholder outreach. So both of these cities, Santa Barbara and the city of Lafayette in Colorado, have made a resolution to transition to community-wide 100% renewable energy by 2030. Optiny's expertise is to define how that resolution will be achieved. So they go in and they do solar siting surveys to determine which properties are large enough for solar. They will review the policies that are in place for construction and retrofits, and they come up with what is called a clean energy roadmap for the city, which outlines how the city is going to move forward and adopt and achieve this 100% renewable commitment. Community engagement is very important to the city's ability to create this clean energy roadmap. We have to go out into the community to find out if these properties that we're selecting for solar, if the owners of those properties will allow us to come in and put solar. We need to understand what financing is out in the community. We need to ask people what their priorities are. And this is Blue Strike's role. We help facilitate a discussion between Optiny and the community to identify these local resources and these potential siting opportunities. So that is what the work that we've been doing with Optiny. It's really exciting, and there's a lot more work coming down the pike, as I mentioned, with SB 100. Next month, Blue Strike will be in Santa Barbara hosting some focus groups. So some of our attendees to those focus groups are the airport, water, waste, and air district agencies, environmental groups, the school districts, hospitals. So we will keep you guys updated and let you know how that goes. So that is Blue Strike in its first year. And I'm really excited all of the development that we've made and having a great staff in place. I think the next step in our development is to take more of the piece of the pie. 10 years ago, when I started out this journey, there were very few people working in the sustainability event world, and now it's saturated with competition. But we've been able to create a niche within the PGA, and we need to keep thinking outside of the box to keep Blue Strike relevant in the sustainable world. And as the energy market transitions, we're going to also have to figure out how to keep Blue Strike relevant and how to continue to take a bigger chunk of the pie. But I want to say thank you to the board of directors and all the staff. You guys have been great, and I think we have a lot of work to do, and it's all really exciting, and I just wanted to say thank you.